Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we go with the Midder Fader. That's right, the Midder Fader is what I called it. And I'm the Darth Vader. Bet you didn't see that coming. However, the mid fade, going from skin bald to like a 1.5, maybe. His head, let's put this mic a little closer. His head, in every head shape is different, so I didn't go as high. I went a little lower just because his head, there wasn't a lot of space right there. That could be confusing sometimes when you're trying to figure out the fade. You're trying to figure out what kind of fade to give him. What is a mid fade on this person's heads, or what's a low fade, or how it's going to play out, how it's going to work out in the long run. So make sure you look at your client's hair and the head, the landscape, and see what's going on, and making sure that you have a vision for the haircut. Or if you really don't have a vision and you're just going to cut, then just cut. But you always kind of want to have a plan. And that's something else, being a barber, it's not just about the haircut, which is the reason, which is why you open up the shop, and why you're doing what you're doing is to cut hair. But being a barber is also just creating friends and friendships, relationships with people. It doesn't mean you have to go out with them for dinner or have lunch with these people. But hey, you never know. Sometimes you may network, you may get involved with some people, and you may do that. But as far as being a barber and the general clientele, usually you become friends with them, and the only times that you see them is when they get haircuts. And anyone who wants to get a haircut, they want a pleasant visit. They don't want to be uncomfortable. So I made my guideline with my 5-0 blade, and now the Andis foil shavers, going right underneath there, using the two foils at the same time, the tapping technique, and letting that blend in. Be patient with these. It takes time to really get that fade down, especially when it's skin bald into hair. The transition can be tough and frustrating. So take your time and have a plan, have steps in place. What happened to me when I started to do haircuts again, when I started getting involved in barbering again, I started to try different techniques and watching other people on YouTube and trying to find out a new way or easier way. But I developed a way at home when I first started cutting hair, and I've always from the bottom up. But if it was most of the time it was from the top up, from the bottom up of the head, and I tried doing it other ways, and it just didn't work out for me. So I went back to what I knew best and made it happen. Sometimes you just gotta stick with what you know. Be patient. When it comes to barbering, cutting hair, it's all about patience and persistence and being available, being there when the hours are said that they're going to be there. If it's from 9 to 5, 10 to 7, or whatever it may be, you're there and you're ready to cut hair. That's the key there, is just being available and there and ready to go. that people get familiar with you. So I got the 5-0 blade again, and just going up a little bit more, maybe like a centimeter or two, and blending it in. Going back and checking my work, make sure the blend is coming in nice, and it's a nice soft transition, not a hard transition or a spotty one. Next here I got my masters open. Depending on the head, the hair, it all depends where I stop. It all depends on the shape of the head is going to determine where I stop with my guidelines. Usually it's about an inch, I want to say, with the masters open. And then I blend in there with the notches. I go in between first, second, third notch. I believe here I have them closed. I'm just getting that line out. You can tell it's starting to disappear as I go up. Just take your time, take a deep breath, breathe when you're cutting hair. You know, sometimes you can get a little overwhelmed and stressed out. It's a long day. You know, being a barber or hairstylist or whatever you may be can be difficult. It can be stressful because you're dealing with people, and dealing with people is not an easy thing. As much as fun as cutting hair is, dealing with people is a whole other thing. So just blending that right in, going with my notches, step by step, taking my time. Just let that haircut come to you. Don't be forceful. Just be patient. This should be the 1A blade. Taking that up just a little higher. Blending as I go. You can tell it looks like it's almost just about blended, but it does look dark on the top. The ridge right there. But I will be lightening that up. I have the masters open and not cross-checking, but checking my work and making sure that everything is blending in nice and easy. The 1.5 blade. I'm pretty much ready at the ridge here. Like I said, there's not much space to work with in this head. Back with the 1A, checking my work. I think everything else is pretty easy. Fades, man, fades. They'll be around for a long time. They will be around for a long time. So doing some shear over comb, lightening it up. Yeah, I feel like once you get past the fade, you're golden. You just everything else is a lot easier to line up. That's like the toughest part, is just getting that fade out of the way. Sometimes these clients can have really tough hair to deal with. This particular one, a fairly easy haircut when it comes to a fade. Boom! Magic! A miracle! It's kind of cool to see that, actually. I believe this is the 5 or the 6. I forget what number it is. But yeah, he just wanted a guard. on the top. Take your time. Even if it is a guard, even if it is easy, you're not using shears or whatever on the top, take your time with it. Make sure you get every hair. Let the haircut come to you. It just takes time, takes experience, but you'll get it. You know, if you're learning, if you're brand new, if you're whatever your level is, if you're an expert or whatever, you're advanced, you know that it just takes time, and with time and patience, the haircuts, they'll come to you, and you know where to go. You'll have a vision for each client. It's kind of, you won't even think about it. It'll just be right away. You already know. You see the hair. You see the hair. You see the type of, the the head shape of the client and the type of hair, and you just know what to expect, what to do, how it's gonna. You know, if you use number 2, if it's gonna look really dark, if it's gonna look lighter, you'll just know because you've cut so much hair already. This is the Magic Clips number 2 walls, 5 stars. Number 2 guard, and just blending that in. I could do this with the clipper over comb, but the shear over comb. But I feel like they'd be a little more time consuming, so I went ahead and grabbed the number 2 and just blending that right in. Not a lot of bulk on top, so it's an easier blend, so you don't really need to do a lot of shear work. The number 3. Get the number 3 and just go a little higher with it. Coming to a close here. This is just gonna give you the, sorry, it's like weird. Little action of the line up here on the side. I do my best to make these happen. Angles and everything, and trying to make it straight can be kind of hard. Stretch the skin, do whatever you gotta do to make that line straight, make that the box or the lining nice and fresh. Still have some work to do in that lining. Here goes some blade action. Letting the blade do the work. Sorry, not much going on here on this end, but you'll see some towards the end here, and you will see the finished product as well. So hope you guys liked this video. Like, subscribe, share. Thanks for watching, and have a wonderful